like that, where you begin to feel strength. Sport, if you will, is to look for caves that have very tight crevices, and you crawl through them to see what's on the other side. I don't want to go to the other side. I like right where I'm at. But they crawl through these tight cracks, and a lot of times it involves grappling or ascending on sharp areas. But the whole point is they are looking, they are looking for crevices and cracks to squeeze themselves through. And I was reading about this gentleman. It was an article. His name was Philip, and somebody was writing the article about Philip. And Philip had never been, I'm not even going to try to say it again. He had never done anything like this before, so he went and he hired a guide and said, "This is something I've always wanted to do. Will you take me with you?" And so the guide, as I read the article again, this was a third person writing the article about Philip, and he got the guide, and the guide began to take him to a particular cave, and then the crevices that they were sliding through were getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And then at one point they had to get on their back, and they had to push themselves through this crevice. So they were on their back, and at first there was enough room for their knees to be up and push themselves backwards. And then it got so tight that they could no longer lift their knees. They were pushing themselves backwards with their hands. Then it got even tighter than that, where they couldn't they couldn't fill their lungs up fully with air. They had to only partially breathe, and they had their face sideways, and they were pushing themselves backwards. Well, Philip started to panic, as you would imagine. But he started to panic, and he started to hyperventilate, and he said to his guide, he said, "Hey, I'm scared. I'm scared, and I can't breathe." And the guide said, just stay with me. We're going to be okay. And so a few moments later, after they pushed themselves a little bit further, as I was reading, Philip said, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not going to make it." And the guide said, "Listen, I don't want you to concentrate about anything else. Don't think about anything else. I just want you to listen to my voice. Just listen to my voice." Well, Philip died that day in the crevice. No, he didn't. I was just kidding. I'm just kidding. He didn't die. But anyway, he listened to his voice. The guy kept on talking. He got out on the other side, and he was able to tell the story, and the article was written. Some of you are never going to forgive me for that, but he got to the other side, and you guys are already ahead of me. The only way he got through is he just kept on listening to the voice, and the guy just kept talking. He kept talking, and he just concentrated on what the guide was saying, and he got through. You know, it's hard. It's sincerely hard to lean into the Lord and say, "I'm scared. I'm scared." Usually when we're discouraged, we're just thinking it. Usually when we feel like the season that we're in is never going to change, we just try to get used to it. We try to get used to it, and we try to just kind of adjust as life goes on. And at best case scenario, we can get through one day at a time. In seasons like that, you're not trying to get through the week. You're not trying to get through the month. You're not even trying to get through the year. You're trying to get through the moment. If I can get through this moment and be okay. And before we know it, all we're trying to do is get through one moment after the next. And it's the enemy's trap. It's the enemy's ploy to try to get us to be consumed with fear and discouragement. But I want to tell you this. One whisper to the Holy Spirit begins to change the tide. Come on. It begins to change the tide of your life. I want to challenge you. Whisper. Open your mouth and say something to the Lord. It doesn't matter what you say, just as long as some words are coming out of your mouth that you're saying, I need you. And maybe that's all you say. I love you. Or you say, I'm in trouble. I need you. It's words like that where you begin to feel strength.